In the last section, I've shown you the LP duality theory. Let's have at least a quick example of how you can apply this in algorithms. And we'll look again at our friend's vertex cover. And we've seen the very first kind of approximation algorithm that we looked at was taking a maximal matching and just taking both endpoints. And that turned out to be a 2 approximation for vertex cover. It turns out there's a much nicer, deeper structure behind this idea. First of all, you can write down vertex cover and maximum matching, the overall largest in this case, both as interlinear programs. Right? Vertex cover, you have a variable for each vertex. You can either pick it or not, but you need to make sure every edge has at least one of the endpoints picked, so the sum of the endpoints must be at least 1. Whereas for matching, we have a variable for each edge. We try to pick as many as possible, but for every vertex, I can only pick in total value 1 on all its incident edges. And if you restrict that to integral variables, then it's exactly the notion of a matching. You could pick one of the edges of every vertex at most. So then that's exactly the 2 problems. Now, if we look at their LP relaxations, we see that they're duals of each other. And here's just by a concrete example to also make the structure extremely visible. It's a small graph with some 4 vertices, 5 edges. The problem for minimum vertex cover, the LP can be written like this. And so you have for each edge, you have a constraint, which says one of the endpoints has to be picked. But in LP language, just the sum of the endpoints has to be at least 1. And for maximum matching, you have a variable for each edge, and then you have a constraint for each vertex. For example, vertex B1 has E1, E2, E4, and so the matching constraint says their sum cannot be more than 1. And again, you can see from the structure they're exactly dual, or you make the game from before. If you look at the matrix A, which is the matrix of the constraints, then this is a bit inconvenient, but here the natural one is for the dual. If you look at this matrix, that's also known as the incidence matrix of the graph. You have the vertices as rows and the edges as columns, and you have a 1 if they're incident and a 0 otherwise. And so that turns exactly into the coefficient matrix for the constraints for matching. It's all not too deep or surprising. But the fact that these problems are dual means our lemma from earlier that the vertex cover is at least as big as a matching is just weak duality and nothing more. And it indeed works on the interlinear programs, not just on the linear programs. We'll look at this in a bit more general sense later. The last bit I wanted to mention here is this notion of a duality gap that we haven't had before. We've talked about integrality gaps. Duality gap would be, so you can have the integer feasible for the primal, and you can have integer feasible for the dual. And for the LPs, you know, that they match. There's no duality gap for LPs, but for the integral problems, there's a gap from going from all solutions to integer solutions in either of the 2 problems, and so there's also a gap when going from the integer linear program to the dual integer linear program. And that's what we call the duality gap. So that's the of course, we also have this guy here. That's the integrality gap that we've seen before. And for vertex cover and matching, a simple example, and we've seen this before, is that this duality gap is 2. In the worst case, it is at least 2, and it's also never more than 2. Okay, yeah. This we don't actually need, so it's just for, in bipartite graphs, it turns out the duality gap is gone, because you can always have the matrix you get is totally unimodular, so it always has an optimal integral solution even for the LP. And since that's true for both primal and dual problems, also the integral, the ILPs have to match, have to have the same optimal objective value. Let's declare that's just enrichment.